Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the City Council of the City of Highland Park, Illinois, January 13th, 2025. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Bruckman.
Here.
Councilmember Ross.
Here.
Councilmember Tapia.
Present.
Councilmember Littler.
Here.
Councilmember Stone. Here. Councilmember Bloomberg. Mayor Rotering.
Here, we have a quorum. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the scheduled regular city council meeting held December 16, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those minutes are approved. I believe we already approved the closed session minutes, so we'll move on. May I have a motion to approve the warrant list?
So moved.
All right, we had two so moves. Who's going to be the second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions on the warrant list? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the vote?
Councilmember Bruckman.
Aye.
Councilmember Ross.
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia.
Aye.
Councilmember Littler.
Aye.
Councilmember Stone. Aye. Councilmember Bloomberg.
Aye.
Mayor Rotering.
Aye, 7 ayes, no nays, and the warrant list is approved. We'll now move to the report of the mayor. At this, our first meeting of the year, please join us in remembering those who are still being held hostage in Gaza. We especially share our support with their families, particularly those who are here in Highland Park. And we know that you are facing the new year with worry and fear for your loved ones in Gaza, which we share, and we continue to call for their safe return. Our thoughts and prayers also are with the residents of California who are facing the devastating effects of multiple fires. The magnitude of the destruction and the challenges faced by the residents and first responders in California are truly unimaginable. As a community, we stand in solidarity with them during this difficult time. We are incredibly grateful to the brave firefighters and emergency personnel who are working tirelessly to contain the fire and protect lives and property. Their courage and dedication are inspiring, and we commend their efforts. As we watch the events unfold, let's take a moment to reflect on the importance of community and the strength that we derive from supporting one another. We encourage everyone to contribute in any way they can, whether through donations to reputable organizations, volunteer efforts, or simply offering words of encouragement and support to those affected. A page has been created on the city website with suggestions for providing assistance. Let us remain hopeful and united in our support for California, and thank you all for your compassion and your solidarity. All right, this is one of my favorite things that we do. We are appointing our 2026 class of student representatives, and I want to thank you all for coming this evening. It's great to see you. Through the Student Representative Program, the City of Highland Park offers high school juniors and seniors the opportunity to gain hands-on government experience by serving on our advisory groups, our boards, and our commissions. During their service, students develop leadership skills while our community benefits from the unique perspective each student provides. Students appointed this evening will serve through June of 2026. And again, we'd like to congratulate and welcome the following high school juniors to the 2026 class of student representatives. And if I could be so bold to fully embarrass you, when I call your name, if you could stand, because your parents want to take your picture, and they need that proud moment. So work with us. All right. Business and Economic Development Advisory Group, Maddie Cashy and Cassidy Kullberg. Thank you. Cultural, see, smile. Cultural Arts Advisory Group, Francis Peterson and Addison Edelstein. Great, thank you. Historic Preservation Commission, Amelia Koslow. Wonderful. Human Relations Advisory Group, Gracie Goldstein, Emmy Dubin, and Olivia Rosenblatt. Awesome, thank you. Library Board of Trustees, Nora Gladstone and Renata Smoller. Great. Plan and Design Commission, Autumn Fallis. Thank you. Sister Cities Foundation, Joseph Moyer and Liam Ornstein. Great, thanks. Sustainability Advisory Group, Amelia Griffin and Lucas Hubler. See, Dad wanted a picture. Transportation Advisory Group, Noah Kaplan and Jacob Robinson. Excellent. And Zoning Board of Appeals, Emery Dunau. Thank you so much. So welcome, all of you. We're going to further embarrass you by asking you to come stand in front of us and take a picture with the council. And I just look forward to talking to all of you. I believe we're having orientation in 2 weeks. So thank you in advance for your service on behalf of your community and for the time that I know you're going to be putting into giving us your great perspective. So if I could invite all of you to come join us in the front here. Come all the way over here. I know it says, I'm glad you guys follow directions. That's a good start. Small people in the back.
Small people in front of you.
Great. Are we looking at me first, please? Excellent, thank you. I'm gonna move so parents.
Okay, go for it, parents. Terrific, thank you. A round of applause for our students. All right, thank you all. You're welcome to depart if you have homework, but we do have something kind of cool happening right now. What? Okay, we will do that. I have one proclamation this evening in celebration of retiring police commander Gerald Cameron, who retired on January 8th, 2025, after 45 years of dedicated service to our community. I have a proclamation. We'll let our students hit the road.
Commander Cameron, you can step forward, please.
I was going to say, Jerry, what are you doing sitting back there? Come on. Whereas Gerald L. Cameron Jr., better known as Jerry Cameron, was initially hired as a Highland Park police officer on January 7th, 1980. I'm going to ask who was at the top of the hits list in 1980. I don't know. All right, whereas Jerry Cameron has worked his way up through the police department ranks. He was promoted to sergeant in 1994, to patrol commander in 1999, and to his current role as investigations commander in 2008. Whereas within the police department, Commander Cameron has fulfilled the duties of police officer, detective, records supervisor, patrol sergeant, patrol commander, investigations commander, and served in numerous roles and on specialty teams, including range master, tactical team leader, fleet manager, plus dive team member. And whereas Jerry is passionate about fast cars and motorcycles, he bought his first car, a 1970 Chevy Chevelle Supersport, on January 1, 1975, which he has owned and maintained for 50 years. And he also enjoys racing a Harley-Davidson Destroyer. We knew you were fast. We didn't know how fast you were. Whereas Highland Park residents may recognize Jerry as overseeing law enforcement operations and management at Ravinia Festival summer concerts, but they may not realize that he designed and led the building of the Firearms Training Center on Half Day Road. And whereas Commander Cameron is a hardworking, ethical, responsive professional with a high level of character and integrity who is respected by his colleagues and the community. Whereas Commander Cameron retired on Wednesday, January 8th, 2025, he has earned and justly deserves this public recognition for his impressive 45 years of dedicated and distinguished service to our community. Now, therefore, I, Nancy Rotary, Mayor of the City of Highland Park, Lake County, Illinois, and the City Council of Highland Park, do hereby congratulate Commander Jerry Cameron on the occasion of his retirement and extend our deep, deep appreciation to Jerry for his many years of service and our very best wishes for his continued success in his life's pursuits. Wear your seatbelt, Jerry. We are so delighted to recognize you and so appreciate all that you've brought to this community. We already cried and talked about how awesome you are, so if you'd like to share a few comments, we'd love to hear them.
So these words come from my heart, not a piece of paper, but I do have notes because I'm going to need them, quite frankly. Mayor, City Council, City Manager Newkirk, Chief Jagman, senior staff, the citizens of Highland Park, my fellow officers. Bear with me, that happens on occasion. I want to extend my deepest gratitude for your continued support, for providing the police department with the resources, training, continued confidence in our abilities. Couldn't have been prouder to serve beside my fellow officers, firefighters, civilian staff, volunteer CERT members, 911 dispatch operators, public services personnel, and at times along the mayor, city manager, and members of city council throughout my career. And you know when. It's been an honor to serve the Highland Park community and to overcome the challenges we have faced together. I'll always cherish the time spent with my colleagues and the members of this community. Chief Lou Jogman, you know, when I've worked for 7 chiefs, and they all had one thing in common. When Jerry Cameron talks, they all got a little bit nervous. Chief, I was appointed commander before your selection as chief of police and was eligible for retirement at that time. You chose to retain me in my assignment to investigations, and I'll always remember that decision and the confidence you had in me. Most importantly, my wife, for her unwavering support, which has been instrumental in my career. There is no one else that I would choose to accompany me through this next chapter in my life. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate this.
Please rise, council members. We're going to take a picture, just hand you to the kids. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Come join us, please. Thank you.
It's been an honor to serve. It's been a privilege. Yes, thank you.
Always. Thank you.
Please, come on, please.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, please, please. That's okay. Awesome, thank you.
Yes, great. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you.
We're still together.
Sorry. Congratulations again, Jerry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So for the 40th consecutive year, the Government Finance Officers Association, the GFOA, has recognized the City of Highland Park with the GFOA Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the city's 2023 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, the most recent report. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. The report has been judged by an impartial panel to meet the high standards of the program, which includes demonstrating a constructive spirit of full disclosure, to clearly communicate its financial story and motivate potential users and user groups to read the report. We'd like to recognize City Manager Gita Newkirk, Finance Director Christy McCalloo, the Finance Department staff, and all department directors for this outstanding achievement. And we encourage everyone to visit cityhpil.com/budget to view the annual comprehensive financial report. It's a great read. So congratulations. Thank you. We have one more item under the report of the mayor, and that is regarding the North Suburban Legal Aid Clinic. February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and tonight it is our pleasure to welcome J.C. Wolf, a social worker in the domestic violence law practice at the North Suburban Legal Aid Clinic, to share important information about recognizing the potential signs of teen dating violence and other resources and services available through the clinic. Welcome, J.C.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all today. If we haven't had the pleasure of meeting, my name is J.C. Wolf, and I'm one of the domestic violence social workers at North Suburban Legal Aid Clinic. If you are not familiar with North Suburban Legal Aid Clinic, we offer services in the areas of housing, immigration, and domestic violence law. I'm here today to discuss a very important issue and continue to raise awareness within our community about teen dating violence. Teen dating violence is a form of domestic violence involving patterns of controlling and abusive behaviors in intimate relationships. These behaviors include physical, verbal, emotional, and even sexual abuse. It can happen anywhere, at school, during extracurricular activities, at home, and even in public spaces, though it can often occur in private. This is not just about isolated incidences, it's about recognizing a pattern of harmful behaviors that jeopardizes teens' safety, confidence, and ability to build healthy relationships in the future. February is known as the month of love, but it is also Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, a crucial time to educate teens about trust, respect, boundaries, and consent. These are the building blocks of healthy relationships that carry forward into adulthood. Raising awareness helps teens recognize when they're in unhealthy situations and gives them the tools to advocate for themselves and others. Common signs include intensity, a relationship that moves too fast or feels overwhelming, control or jealousy, one partner dictating the way that what others wear or what they see, or constantly accusing them of being unfaithful. Behavior changes, sudden shifts in mood, dress, or priorities that reflect a partner's influence. Isolation, demanding spending all their time together, cutting off friends and even family. Constant communication, insisting on frequent updates, tracking locations through phone apps, or expecting immediate responses to calls or texts. Fear of repercussions, anxiety about how a partner might react if expectations aren't met, such as delayed responses or canceled plans. These behaviors often escalate and can have lasting impacts on a teen's emotional and physical well-being. At the North Suburban Legal Aid Clinic, we are here to help. Our website offers valuable resources for teens, parents, and educators to identify and address teen dating violence. Our team of attorneys, advocates, and social workers provide confidential legal assistance and works with partnership with social service agencies and public safety officials. If you or someone you know needs help, please reach out to us by phone or by visiting our website. Together, let's break the silence about teen dating violence. By spreading awareness, we empower teens to build relationships that are rooted in trust, respect, and safety. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming by.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I ask if there's any business from the council. None? Okay. Business from city staff.
Thank you, Mayor. Just 3 items. One, the omnibus agenda. There are 6 items for your consideration. All have detailed staff reports, and we are recommending approval of all 6 items. If we go to the next slide. We continue to communicate with the public that we are inviting public feedback on the location for the place of remembrance. We will continue to maintain the temporary place of remembrance in the Rose Garden until a permanent location has been selected. We've been working with the Place of Remembrance Working Group, and this location survey is one important element to ascertain public feedback as part of that important process. So the deadline to complete the survey is January 31st. The link to that survey is noted there on our website. Individuals can go on our website to find further information about that. We do have a Place of Remembrance Working Group meeting tomorrow evening. So we're gonna provide some preliminary information thus far, and then we'll come back with a formal report to the Place of Remembrance Working Group, and then a final report to the City Council for your final determination as we ascertain the location for that permanent place of remembrance. And then we continue to communicate on a regular basis that crisis assistance is available to anyone in need of assistance 24 hours a day, every day, so they can call or text 988 or visit our website with information or that website that's noted on the slide. And the next, wanted to give an update to the council, get your concurrence on the recommendation so we can continue to coordinate with the Park District as we prepare plans for the Independence Day celebration in 2025. So this is, as you know, this is a joint endeavor with the Park District of Highland Park. They are planning to have their 4th Fest on a new date this year. They are looking to have their celebration on July 3rd and have it in the evening, so from 5:30 to 8:30, and looking at that location at the Preserve, which is 1200 Park Avenue West, as opposed to Sunset Woods. So they have received some preliminary support from their board to move forward accordingly. As it pertains to the remembrance, we would continue to hold the remembrance on July 4th, starting at 9:30 this year is our recommendation. And we have secured Edgewood Middle School, which is the same location that we had it at last year. So we thank School District 112 for their partnership and allowing us to do it at an indoor venue, which is important. Consistent with last year, we would recommend that people RSVP for that remembrance, just so we have an estimated number of attendees that'll be there. And we're currently working with the program and making sure that it's meaningful for victims and others impacted by the tragedy. And then later that day, we would have our traditional parade between the city and Park District coordinating those efforts. And that would be held at noon, which is a little bit earlier than last year, but it gives us time to kind of transition. And then we're also sensitive to the time periods from neighboring parades are being held as well. So we don't have a theme at this point, but just wanted to make sure that the council was comfortable with the schedule. As it pertains to a drone show, as you know, we signed a contract with a company to provide drone show services. And we would recommend, similar to last year, that entertainment be held on a different night. So we'd be looking to coincide that with one of the events in the downtown district, similar to what we did last year. And so that's what our recommendation is. It could be held on the 3rd, although the contractor does not recommend anything before 9:30 p.m. So that would just require that the Park District continue their entertainment for at least another hour. And then just for scheduling and timing purposes, we just feel it would be more appropriate to do it at a different time. Any questions?
The question is, are we discussing the drone versus fireworks and timing? At this point, you're just looking for concurrence regarding the schedule day, but it appears that we might need to have a further conversation regarding drone fireworks question. I think we can maybe do that at our next committee of the whole in a pretty quick manner.
We could do that, sure. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so this for now, though, everybody's okay? Or yes, concurrent?
Okay, perfect.
Yes, okay, great, thank you. Help you
Sure.
plan.
You bet.
Is that it for?
That is it. Thank you.
Okay, and before we continue, I also need to get the approval of the council of the minutes of the closed session of our city council meeting held December 16, 2024, so I'm seeking a motion.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, sorry about that. And now if you could, city manager or city clerk, introduce business from the public.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item on the agenda is business from the public. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the city council on a topic that is within the council's purview and jurisdiction, but is not listed in another location on the agenda. If you would like to speak about a matter that is listed on the agenda, we ask that you wait until that agenda item is called, and we will give you the opportunity to speak then. If your matter is on the omnibus consent agenda, please let us know if you would like us to remove that matter from the consolidated list so that you can speak about it. Please be aware that business from the public is not intended to be a forum for open dialogue or engagement with members of the city council. Rather, it is intended as an opportunity to make comments to the city council. Please do not expect a response from anyone tonight. If appropriate, questions may be directed to the city manager or other city staff. All comments should be directed to the city council. All speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. We request that speakers refrain from throwing objects or using noisemakers, and that the public not applaud or make other comments after any speaker. We ask that everyone be respectful, civil, and non-repetitive.
Great, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Carl Lamprecht is my name. I live in Highland Park. What I'm going to be talking about takes about $500 million to over $1 billion in taxes for the state. The Catholic Church has about 75,000 students, has one superintendent. Florida has 67 superintendents and 67 school districts. We have about 850 school districts in the state of Illinois. This is not reasonable. We don't need so many school districts. We have so many more superintendents, assistant superintendents for different applications. They're not needed. Ask any teacher. They will tell you they don't need all this supervision. 50% in Highland Park students are at grade level. This is not acceptable. All I can say, it's better than Chicago. Admittedly, you have students with AP classes and do very well, but still some students are not doing so well. My next subject is, a few years back, I took the bus to Washington, D.C. This was where we had the discussion about the born alive, where a child is born when it was supposed to have been aborted and it wants to live. Now Congress is doing something about it. Brad Schneider voted against it. One Democrat did vote for it, somebody in Texas. All the rest were Republicans. This is not acceptable. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wishing to be heard this evening? Hello.
Good evening, Mayor Rotary, members of City Council. I am Kevin Collether, and I'm a resident of Highland Park. I'm here this evening to address the reported conversion of a single-family home in Highland Park into a timeshare to be enjoyed, quote-unquote, by many families, guests, executives, and others. According to the reports in the Patch, Cranes, and other media outlets, in addition to selling individual shares of the property at 2700 Point Lane, the new owner plans to market the home for, and I quote, events like weddings, family reunions, corporate retreats, sports watch parties, bar mitzvahs, and more. From my perspective, this is clearly a commercial venture within a residential neighborhood. In response to the citizens' concerns, in 2022, Council adopted an ordinance regulating short-term rentals within our jurisdiction. This provision allows for short-term renting of dwelling units as long as it is an accessory use of a property with reasonable limitations to avoid nuisances and to limit rental frequency. To ensure that all short-term rentals are accessory and not principal uses, you included several provisions, including the property may be used for short-term rental is not a principal use. That using it as a short-term rental is not its principal use. That it must be owner-occupied or occupied by a tenant with a lease of at least 30 consecutive days each year. No short-term rental may be rented for more than 45 days per calendar year, and the number of occupants at any one time is limited to 12 individuals. It is possible that the new owner was simply excited about owning this unique Highland Park property and got brainstorming in front of the media without consulting his attorneys or others who are knowledgeable of Highland Park's code. I don't think so. He spent too much money to do that. But I do believe that these uses that he's suggesting are not what was envisioned by City Council when they adopted the short-term rental provisions within our code. I would also like to note that when the City Council approved the height variance for the property at 2000 Ridge, it included, at the recommendation of the Zoning Board of Appeals, a condition that prohibits commercial use of the barn on that property for any commercial purposes. So there is precedent within the city that says, and that you have spoken, that residences cannot be used for commercial properties or commercial purposes. Policies regarding, have been set regarding short-term rentals. I do not believe the proposal put forth in the media by the owners is in compliance, and I ask you to put it on your work plan for 2025. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager, if you could answer those questions, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. And I did communicate with Mr. Cullither this afternoon as well. So really three things. One, short-term rentals are possible in Highland Park, provided that individuals adhere to the city's local regulations, which are listed on our website. We have communicated that to the owner of the subject property that was referenced. As it pertains to timeshares, as it's defined of ownership interest in a property is not governed in the city's municipal code. And so it's not prohibited, it's not identified in the municipal code as such. And we've conferred with Corporation Counsel as it pertains to that. And we can elaborate on that if you like. The third issue is it pertains to use of residential property for commercial purposes, and that's absolutely not permitted. So if someone is having a wedding at their home or a birthday party, something like that, they don't need special approval from the city. But if they now are renting it out where people can host a wedding there or a mitzvah or some other celebration or event, that would not be permissible. And so we will certainly enforce any violations of city code accordingly.
Has anyone reached out to the purchaser to let them know sort of where we
Yes,
are?
we have, yeah.
Community Development Director?
Yes, we have met with him during the holidays, Mayor, and we'll follow up with him based on these articles and what they've said to find out exactly, what the intentions are. In terms of short-term rentals, we do have that in our code. There is a limitation on the number of people. It's 12, and so whatever they're gathering for, that we don't necessarily have any say on that. However, there is a limit of 12 people, so for a property that size, it would be fairly constrained.
Right,
That's only for short-term rentals,
Right.
though.
That's
It's-
correct.
right.
That's not for an event.
Now,
I think,
But he can't
people,
rent the house out to have events.
but
Mayor,
People-
if I may, from a legal perspective,
You bet.
there's been a lot of conjecture of what this is in the media. I suggest we not base our response to what's in the media. It could very well be right that this individual was spewing off different opportunities that may or may not be allowed. We know what's allowed in our code and we know what's not.
Right.
This use, this particular, if I understand it correctly, and we have not talked directly with anyone representing ownership, they're dividing the ownership into different shares. Any of us can do that with our property. That's not a short-term rental. That's really not even a timeshare, even if we did want to regulate it. So we have to look very carefully and not react to newspaper articles. We'll look and see what it is, and we'll see if it's something we can regulate or cannot regulate. We will look. And I think.
Suffice it to say, our code will be enforced in whatever manner it is applied.
No matter what, our code will be enforced, but I don't want people, there are terms that are very carefully defined.
Right.
And this proposed use may or may not fit within those terms, so they may or may not be applicable.
Great.
We would encourage the public to contact us. So if they have any questions, any concerns, please contact us and we can answer those questions.
Sounds good. Great, thank you. Any other members of the public wishing to be heard this evening?
Nancy West.
Lester, Highland Park Historical Society. Wanted to once again invite everyone to what this is Sunday at the Presbyterian Church. Elisha Gray was actually an alderman, served twice in the city council in the 1870s. And this concert, I'm sorry, it's going to be broadcast live on the Presbyterian Church's YouTube page, Highland Park Presbyterian Church. And things that we take for granted today, electronic music, broadcasts, telephone, are going to be demonstrated, and people can know that the place they have in Highland Park history and the prolific inventor, Elisha Gray.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Any other members of the public wishing to be heard this evening? Okay, seeing none, we'll continue on to our scheduled business. Items 1 through 6 have been grouped together for omnibus consideration. I'm seeking a motion to approve items 1 through 6.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions on items 1 through 6? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the vote?
Councilmember Bruckman.
Aye.
Councilmember Ross.
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia.
Aye.
Councilmember Littlewer.
Aye.
Councilmember Stone.
Aye.
Councilmember Bloomberg.
Aye.
Mayor Rotering.
Aye, 7 ayes, no nays. Items 1 through 6 have been approved. Item 7 is a resolution approving an economic incentive agreement with the Barnes Steakhouse 2 LLC and Happy Buddha Incorporated. Do we need a presentation? No. Do we just want to take action? Is there a motion?
Mayor, I just do want to recognize Amy Morton, who has joined us
too.
this evening.
Thank you for joining us, Amy, or as we can say, welcome home.
Do we want to have a presentation just so that this can be published and publicized?
I think that'd be a great idea. Do you want to give a brief explanation of what you're?
Do you mind if I stay here so I can look at?
You actually need to be over here so that, but there's a vision over there as well. Great, thank you.
Greetings. Thank you so much for having me. And
You are Amy Morton.
I am Amy Morton.
Thank you.
I am a Highland Parker. I was spent my entire life here. I do live in Evanston now. And I'm really, really excited about coming home for this project. But I do just have to take one moment and say, I live in Evanston. I've sat through more city council meetings than I can count. And what I just sat through was so incredibly positive. The personal, the global, the nationwide commentary and thoughtfulness really was inspiring to me. And it was just perfect to have the opportunity to witness this on the heels of speaking on my hope and desire and our plans of opening a restaurant here in Highland Park. So I feel really lucky. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Barnes Steakhouse is my restaurant that is in Evanston. I signed the lease probably just over 10 years ago. We are just in our 9th year of business. And I have been looking since before COVID, and I've spoken to many people in this room on this very briefly, yet in twos, so you may have heard some of this. Since before COVID, I have been looking for a location. And we never want to get emotional about business, but I found a location that I really love. And it is the old little Szechuan space on First Street. Here, there's a couple, thank you to Aaron, slides for everyone to look at, and it'll be easier if you have a moment later to really take it in. On the left, this is only showing the front space. We are taking both spaces. After all, we're taking the little Szechuan space, and we are taking the space in the back, which will be a private dining room. It's kind of becoming a bit of a boardroom and a larger event space, which I think is going to be super approachable and available to so many different types of people, whether it's a family gathering or something larger. So the floor plan on the left reflects the front dining room. It's pretty darn accurate. And the space when all the tables would be occupied would be in the 75-person range. And It is unusual in a restaurant that every single table has every single seat taken, though we do have flexibility. The idea is not to copycat what I have already done in Evanston, but to draw on the important elements that make it live. And that is why I've taken such a long time to find the right space. This is cozy and warm and clubby, not in a club sense, but in a I belong sense, and there is a place for me. The top rendering, I wish I had the bottom one colored, but we're just not there yet. The top rendering is an image of what one will feel when they're in there. This is just our second go with the colors, but it is starting to take shape. If you notice, the front door has been moved to the side of the building. And so it will be and quote unquote, alley side entrance, which I think gives it a ton of character, is something we can play off of what we've already done at the Barn Steakhouse in Evanston. And I think is necessary because people don't always have a great sense of vision. And I wanted people to walk in here and know that they were in something that was new. There's a fabulous little bar and a drink rail, very cozy. The bottom sketch is just taking shape. That shows the back of the dining room and is just a little hint of what is to become. We have one more rendering. So one more slide. In the bottom center, that is our dining space in Evanston called our loft. It actually is upstairs and is really what the entire space is going for in terms of vibe. It is low ceilings, it's cloistered, it's warm, it's comfy, it's got banquettes and tables combined. And so that is really a great vision of what both of those renderings are going to be. The rest is food. We are, of course, a steakhouse. I think, though, one of the things that sets the Barn Steakhouse apart from other steakhouses is that we have a super broad menu. We really only have 5 cuts of beef on the menu. It is 43% of our sales in Evanston, though we've got a broad menu. My idea from the beginning was somebody who just had to have that steak walked in and had this fabulous dinner and left saying, oh my gosh, nobody even ordered a steak. So it's a place that, again, not just the price point, which really does matter, gives it a more approachable guest base. So you're not walking in and having to spend $58 for a steak, but that you can have a fantastic burger or entree in the low 20s and have a great evening. So that's really important. And these are just few. We've got our filet, which is on the top right, most popular item. And these are the items that I chose are the ones that have remained on the menu since we opened. We do seasonal changes in the spring and in the winter, though we have a menu that is tried and true. I wanted it to be, and it has proven to be, a place where if you like your roast chicken and you had it yesterday or 5 years ago, it is the exact same roast chicken that you had then as you are going to have now. So you can really count on the experience. And so that's our roast chicken. And then this is a branzino dish. Our fish does change seasonally, but I put it on because it's delicious and it was nice and colorful. And I just find it uncanny that after looking for so long for a location, that it wound up being in Highland Park, where, of course, as I already said, I'm from, though I was writing a little letter to our partners today, and I thought, yeah, I referenced my dad, who I think had the last steakhouse here, which closed in 1995. So I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that we create our future and the now, and I want to make this a real cornerstone for the community here, and I think it will be, and I'm really excited, and I want to say thank you very much for considering and for talking with me and with each other about the project.
Absolutely, absolutely. Delighted to be working with you. I know everyone's going to be asking, when do you think it'll be open, Amy?
The goal is September 9th.
Nice.
So everything I've done, it's crazy, has opened in November. So people say, when's the right time to open? And honestly, and I'm sorry, my back is too over there, it's when we're ready, right? I mean, when we're ready is the right time. Though based on our lease and based on the amount of time we have for the build out and the work we've already done, we will start our training in-house in August, and we will do a few, we call them wet runs. We do dry runs and wet runs when we open. We do dry runs without food and beverage, but we bring everything in and we take people's orders, and then we do wet runs, which are our friends and family, and hopefully everyone will be able to attend, where we get a lot of information. But I assume we will open to the public the Tuesday after Labor Day.
Wow, great. Well, thank you for this peek at the barn, Highland Park. We're super excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Any
you,
questions
everybody.
for Amy? I just have a, Councilmember Ross?
Thank you, Mayor. Are we able to say anything after the vote, before the vote?
Sure, we can say something after the vote if
Okay,
you want to.
sure.
Okay. So with that, I'll entertain a motion on item 7.
So moved.
Okay, what you?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
You're the second. Thank you. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Councilmember Brockman.
Aye.
Councilmember Ross.
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia.
Aye.
Councilmember Littlewer.
Aye.
Councilmember Stone.
Aye.
Councilmember Bloomberg.
Aye.
Mayor Rotering.
Aye, 7 ayes and no nays. Item 7 is approved. Councilmember Ross?
In the past, I've had the good fortune to dine at both of Amy's restaurants in Evanston, and they were all excellent meals, and really excellent. And so to Amy and her team, I say welcome to Highland Park. I'm very excited about your new restaurant, and I know that many residents will be thrilled. And I also want to say that these building improvement incentive grants, I hope that City Council and the City of Highland Park are sending the message both to existing and new restaurant businesses considering opening in Highland Park that our city is actively helping. And hopefully this message of support is perceived as business friendly. And before I thank those who made this possible, I also want to share that I do speak with local restaurant owners, and I want to acknowledge that some feel they will be impacted by these new restaurants in terms of, frankly, lost business. But they welcome more restaurants opening in Highland Park. It's the size of the subsidies that worry them. But having acknowledged their concerns here, I very, very much want to congratulate Amy Morton on this great restaurant opening. Thank her for her choice and determination to open in our city, and we will do our level best to make sure you are successful. And I greatly thank city staff, including recently retired Carolyn Hirsch, for their tireless work on our collective goal of making Highland Park the North Shore destination for the best in fine dining. And I think I'll leave it at that.
Great, thank you. Any other comments? Councilmember Brookman?
Just want to say, well, congratulations. I'm thrilled about the barn opening in Highland Parks and adding to Highland Park's vibrant dining and nightlife scene. Your reputation, Amy Morton's reputation, and the caliber of your restaurant bring a level of excellence and distinction that will undoubtedly enhance the vibrancy and allure to Highland Park. This establishment is poised to attract residents and visitors alike, contributing to the energy and growth of our local economy. At the same time, I appreciate the careful balance this council took between fostering economic development and maintaining fiscal responsibility. In today's competitive landscape, incentives like these that we have are critical to ensuring that Highland Park remains an attractive destination for high-quality businesses, especially when neighboring communities are offering similar packages. This new, the Barn Steakhouse represents an investment in our community's future, one that will drive foot traffic, bolster neighboring businesses, and strengthen our reputation as a premier destination for dining and entertainment. I'm very excited about the Barn, and congratulations, and thank you to the city for all the great work on this.
Thank you. Councilmember Bloomberg?
Thank you. Welcome to Highland Park again. I had the chance to meet with you and reminisce a little bit about Highland Park. I've been a resident here for over 60 years. I very much appreciate seeing you bring your restaurant here. I love the message that this sends about Highland Park and about you, and I look forward to dining there.
Wonderful. Councilmember Tapia?
Yeah, I also want to welcome you to Highland Park, back as a native daughter. I love your spirit. I love the spirit that you're conveying here, that you want to bring forth through a unique concept. And, you're just going to add to the vibrancy of the city and continue making it a destination, not only for our residents who deserve it, but for a destination for people from far and wide to really make Highland Park a place that has to come to over and over again. So thank you.
I think we're very excited, so thank you. Delighted to have you back. And with that, I am seeking I'm so sorry, Councilmember Littleworth.
Sorry. I just wanted to say, this is part of a big dream and a vision that we have for Highland Park. And that vision is to really rejuvenate and reinvigorate so many spaces and so many places for people to come, to live, to congregate, and to draw in others from outside of Highland Park. But this is a big step, and we're looking for those anchors and those tried and true and those well thought out and planned restaurants that have the feel that we want to bring into Highland Park. So we're really grateful to you for being a part of that. It's been quite a process that we as a city have undertaken in terms of incentives and initiatives and working in this community to make this really feel like it's a growth. And this is what you're bringing to us. So we're very happy to partner with you. We're very happy to see the work that's going to transpire through it. And it's really the beginning of our dream. Oh, with 1 or 2 steps in, but in any event, we're very happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you again to staff. A lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of conversation, a lot of details. Greatly appreciated. It definitely takes a village, so thank you.
And we'll pass on the appreciation to Carolyn Hirsch as well.
You bet. Yeah. In her happy retirement home. With that, I am seeking a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good night.